Welcome to our conversation here of Diverse Orange. Today, my guest is CeCe Teneal. Welcome, CeCe.
Thank you.
So, CeCe, you, I know, have traveled all over the world, but you started in a little town right near here, Osteen, I think it is.
Osteen, Florida. Yes, that's where I was born in Sanford, raised in Osteen.
And so, what is Osteen like? And what was it like growing up there?
Osteen is a town just outside of Orlando, in between. It's in Volusia County, and growing up there was very interesting because there was I grew up with the great racial divide in Osteen. It is a small town of about, I think maybe 2,000 people. And I
So,
just,
it has some of the good old boy
it does
mentality.
it has some of the good old boy mentalities. The races are very separate. And so growing up there was interesting because my grandparents would say, don't be loud, don't be the largest, the biggest personality in the room, which is for me a challenge because I am very big personality and super smart. And so I always had challenges because I would be the only black girl in honors classes, or I would be the only black girl doing various things in school. And so it was a challenge for me. But that's what Osteen was. That's kind of how it the kind of town that it was.
All right. So then, were you really aware of? So you're aware of the kind of awkwardness of trying to not be seen. I guess is that what you were saying?
I think more so than anything, not to stand out, to bring attention to myself, because we were it was 40 years ago, because I'm 42 years old. 40 years ago, very very racially split. And so I grew up and with sometimes I feel like, and I don't know, I may get in trouble for this, but I felt like the white community had the upper hand, right? From the standpoint of police, sheriffs, I feel like they had the upper hand. And so, for safety purposes, I think that is why we were, conditioned to just be safe, right? Don't ruffle any feathers, don't go against the grain. I can remember several instances where there was a situation between my uncles and my grandfather and other white people, and we ended up, there was a shotgun, a gunshot that came through our window. And and I think that over time, what happened to me, unfortunately, was I developed a callus to where racism didn't bother me until certain things started happening in our community, and then I became very very woke. But I think growing up, for the first 30 years of my life, I didn't recognize racism for racism. I just recognized it for my reality.
So yeah, you just okay. This is the way it is, and you just went on with life, not
Hmm.
having a judgment about it. I guess. Or
Correct. Yes.
so what was there a specific instance of these many instances in the last few years that changed that?
Yeah, I think the situation with Ahmaud Arbery was really the transition for me, where I was like, wait a minute. Because that the town that he was jogging in looked like, it reminded me of Osteen. The people that were chasing him reminded me of the gentleman that I would see, that I would be afraid of, riding in the big trucks in Osteen. Like, that one really, um I'm sorry, Terry, but that one really did it for me, because I realized that on any given day in the town that I was raised in, that could have been my uncle, my brother, my cousins, that could have been them, my nephew, at any given day. So I think for me, that one really shook me to my core.
Yeah. So, but you got out of Osteen and you live in Orlando now,
I do. I'm
and
sorry. Excuse me.
that's okay. This is something to be emotional about.
hmm
Um, so, what's been your experience getting into the big city of Orlando?
You know, I have had nothing but since so I started doing music in Orlando in 2002, and I haven't had a lot of significant challenges as it relates to diversity. Diversity has actually worked in my favor, because I appreciate a lot of organizations wanting to go and understand what other cultures bring to the table, what other races bring to the table. And I've fortunately been on the front end of that, right? The opportunities have been limitless as it relates to people wanting to hear what I have to say, hear what I sound like. And maybe that's because I'm a Black girl, but maybe that's because I'm a smart girl or innovative girl or creative girl. But I do recognize that sometimes being an African American woman has opened the door for me to have conversations at tables where African American women especially have not been welcomed.
Hmm. That probably doesn't make up for 30 years of living in Osteen now.
No, it does not. However, I do believe in a higher power, and I believe that the universe does everything that it does, and it does it for a reason. And I believe that had I not had those experiences that I had, I wouldn't be able to be as pivotal in our community as it relates to diversity as I am. So I believe that experience is the best teacher, and I'm able to be who I am, in our community because of those years and all the things that I've been through.
So, if I understand what you're saying, in your growing up, there was kind of like your world with Black people, and there was another world out there that was the white people.
Yes.
Um, would you say now that you're more in an integrated world?
I would say that living in Orlando, I'm in an integrated world. I don't know that I would say the same about my hometown.
Right. No, I was
I
meaning
think there
now here in Orlando.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh,
you have more
absolutely.
friends that are of different ethnicities, and
Absolutely. I have a very multifaceted group of people that I associate with on a regular basis, people that I would call friends. And, you used to say, that's my brother, that's my sister when you were the same race. But now I can say that I have brothers and sisters of different races because, blood makes you related, but experiences make you family.
mhm, nice. And you've also traveled the world. I mean, kind of all over, I think.
Yeah, all over. And the interesting piece about it is that some places that I have gone, it is Black people are celebrated because they don't see very many of them. So it's interesting to go to places like, St. Petersburg, Russia, for instance. I've been to Tallinn, Estonia, where very few Black people, are there. And so when they see you, they want to take pictures with you and they want to have conversations with you. And so diversity has really, I've had some interesting run-ins with diversity that, where people literally celebrate seeing a Black woman.
Nice, nice. And you are also finding places where you're the power structure, right? I mean,
Yes,
you're starting to produce and all.
I
So how
am.
does
I
that
am.
feel?
It feels amazing because I am able to producing shows, especially shows that are culturally driven, allow me to learn, right? But then it also gives me the opportunity to take what I've learned about all these different cultures and bring them to the next situation. So being that leader, being in a leadership role as it relates to putting together cultural productions, it's something that I can't even really explain because I learn so much, I meet so many people, and I develop friendships because as I'm producing these things, I'm letting the people that are in the productions bring themselves and their culture to the productions. And I think that's something that they probably haven't even experienced before. A lot of times, say for instance, if you're dealing with a person from Hawaii, you automatically want them to do one thing. Producers want them to do one thing and one thing only. But for me, as I'm working with these different people, I'm saying, what is the best thing that you bring to the table from your culture? What can you lend? Because they know it better than me. So I don't want to ever box anybody in. I think that's what's driving my success as a cultural producer, because I'm truly allowing people to be themselves and tell me, because I'm not the expert on their culture,
Right.
letting them groom me and tell me what is going to work best from their culture.
Well, we saw some of the results of that at the opening of the Steinmetz Hall when you produced some there. And we're looking forward to Kaleidoscope, the signature show of Fusion
Yeah.
Fest that you're creating for us. So thank you. I'm eager to get to know you. I kind of know you more as a music person, as a fun person. I don't really know as much about you as a Black woman, and I'm interested to get to know that part of you as well. We're glad that you're in our community. Thank you for joining us today.
My
And I
pleasure.
want to thank all those who are viewing this as well. Go out and explore, learn something about somebody that's different than you. That'll make your life much more interesting. Thanks. See you.